Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. My name is Putri Nurul Kristina and I am from class MLG 1204A. For my written report 1, I proofread and edited an academic material which is a case study written by a student from the Faculty of Agriculture in UiTM, Jasin, Melaka. The reason I chose this document because it contains a very detailed and technical information about chili cultivation, and I wanted to analyze how a student from a non-language based program presents their academic writing. It also gave me the opportunity to see how language proficiency differences can affect the quality of a written report. Since English for Professional Communication focuses on language accuracy, I wanted to compare how students from other programs construct their ideas, organize their content, and use their English in academic work. The case studies discusses several key areas of chili production. This includes propagation methods such as seed germination, factors affecting plant growth, diseases that commonly affect chili plants, and background information on capsicum annum, or also known as the chili plant. Even though the agricultural content was quite strong, the writing itself had issues in structure, grammar, spelling, vocabulary, and formatting. So my focus for today's presentation was to identify and explain these weaknesses and then improve the clarity and academic quality of the document. So without further ado, let's begin with our presentation for today. As you can see in my slides behind me, I've provided the key points that I'm going to talk about today. So let's get started with the first major issue I noticed in the document. The first major issues I noticed was the lack of academic structure. The document did not include a proper introduction, a clear problem statement, or specific objectives. The information was written in long paragraphs with no clear organization, making it difficult to follow. This issue is quite common among students whose focus is technical or scientific. Agriculture students are trained to explain processes and give factual descriptions, but they may not be familiar with academic conventions such as building arguments, structuring ideas, or organizing content logically. A clear structure not only strengthens the writing but also makes the content easier to read and understand. As you can see in my slides behind me, I've provided the evidence. As you can see, there are no problem statements or a clear objectives in the document. Another noticeable issues that I found in the document is the spelling errors, especially on the word chili. The writer uses both chili with single L, which is the American English spelling, and chili with double L, which is the British English spelling. This shows a lack of awareness of standard spelling rules. UiTM follows British English, so chili with double L is the correct form to use in academic writing. This mistake is understandable because students from non-language programs may not pay attention to language standards. They focus more on the content of their field rather than on the spelling rules. As you can see in the slides behind me, I provide the evidence. You can see the writer also make some careless mistake by spelling lecturer's name to lecture's name, and also another mistake that they do is instead of spelling objectives, they spell objectives. Moving on to another key points in the document that I found, which is the formatting issues. Formatting problems were also very obvious in the document, and that includes unnecessary colons after headings, no justification which makes the text look uneven, very tight line spacing, unnecessary underlining, inconsistent capitalization, and last but not least, scientific names did not italicize in the document. These formatting issues happen because students from scientific or technical fields often prioritize content over presentation. So proper formatting greatly improves readability and academic appearance. As you can see in the slides behind me, I provide the evidence. You can see that the writer did not justify their text, and there are no line spacing, and everything is very lengthy and making it hard to read and follow what the writers are trying to explain in the document. Other than that, there were several grammar issues throughout the document. These involve subject-verb agreement, improper article usage, and missing plural forms. For example, on the slide you can see I provide the evidence. On page 3 under growth habits sections on line 5, chilies are, which I corrected into chili is. Another example is from page 3 under users sections on line 2, give chili pepper, which I've corrected into give chili peppers. Last example that I'm going to give you is on the page 3 under economy importance sections on line 10. chops in manufacturing, which I've corrected into chops in the manufacturing. These errors are common among students who are not trained in language or grammar because their main goal is to express their information and their description about the content, not to ensure the grammatical accuracy of the document. Last but not least is the sentence structure and word choice errors. Many sentences in the original document were very long and contained too much information at once. The writer also used informal expressions such as pros and cons and like, which are not suitable for academic tone. This again reflects the difference between students who are trained to write technically and those trained in professional communication. Agriculture students focus on describing processes, while we not only focus on the information, but we also focus on clarity, tone, and language. A helpful way to strengthen the writing would be to break the long sentences into shorter and clearer ones, so that it improves the readability of the document. Replace informal expression with academic alternative. For example, instead of using like, they can use such as to make it more appropriate for formal academic writing. Other than that, instead of using pros and cons, they can use advantages and disadvantages. Last but not least, they can use transition markers like however, furthermore, or in addition to connect the ideas smoothly. This will help make the writing more formal, organized, and professional. In conclusion, the weaknesses in the original case study, such as issue with structure, spelling, grammar, punctuation, formatting, and vocabulary, were largely due to differences in language background. Through proofreading and editing, I was able to improve the clarity, flow, and academic quality of the document. This task also showed me how important language proficiency is in producing effective academic writing. That is all from me. Thank you for listening and thank you for your attention.